Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Gilded Tarot Royale. I got the other deck too, but this is I think it's a updated version, I believe. Could be wrong. By Cyril Marchetti, text by Barbara Moore. The website I have here is llewellyn.com on this box. Hopefully it's not glaring too much. You can read it if you want to. I don't know if I can get rid of that glare. There we go. So feel free to check that out if you want. I also think for Cyril, usgamesinc.com is also a viable website if you're interested. If you want to check it out, of course. Supportive Oracle Cards, Spellcasting Oracle Cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lisbeth. There are their full names if you want to see how they're spelled. Websites on the back here. I always notice shewhoisart.com. It's near the bottom there, that white box at the bottom. There's a couple other ones. Feel free to freeze frame and check out what you'd like if you're interested. Okay. One card fell out face down. I am like, I want to know what that card is so bad. I'm just like, what is it? What is it? Let's see what's coming forward for you. Okay. There's a decision that gets made that does not seem to have you in mind. Okay. Decision's quickly made, and when this decision is made, you're on the 5. You got the 5 of Pentacles. Doesn't seem to... I just feel like it's not taking how this affects you into account. It's just kind of like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And it's kind of like, oh, well, whatever that does for Scorpio, it does for Scorpio. Who cares? They don't seem to be thinking about it. I don't want to be like, it's not crass. I don't want it to come across like crass or something like that. It's just kind of like, they're not considering you in their decision. Whoever this is not considering you. I don't think they're considering you at all. So, if this is a partnership, you just did not register as part of the factor. You didn't factor in as part of the like decisioning process. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's how it's coming through. When they made this decision, somebody made a decision, they weren't thinking about you. You seem to be left on the outside. They just weren't thinking about how this affects you. Okay. That's how it starts. When you find out about this decision, judgment goes in your favor. I feel like, I'm feeling where this is going is like, all right, you weren't thinking about me when you made that decision, but I can do something with that. It's almost like saying you're with somebody. If it's a partnership, I don't know, I don't want to do the whole relationship thing. Something's being decided here. Something's being decided. It's the best way I can say it. There's an opportunity in front of you. I think it's an opportunity. It's kind of like if I have to move, it's like I have to move, but then it's like, all right, maybe I want to move, but I'm deciding where I'm moving to, or say I have to go from this spot and there's this area, I have to move here, but I get to decide what house I'm going to live in. I get to decide what type of what I'm going to live near. It's kind of like, oh, that's how that's going. I can work with that. I feel like it's almost like, the cat that ate the canary, kind of like, oh, you made that decision? Well, I can do something with that. That's fine with me. I feel like, okay, you make that decision, because I can work with that. I don't think it's crass on your side either, but I kind of have this sarcastic little bite to the situation. I don't know why. It's just there. So take it with a grain of salt. How do you feel about this when you find this out? Because I don't know. I'm getting like this like thunderstorm, hot, cold feeling here. Kind of like, I don't know. It's a change. Scorpio's up for a change. You're also accepting it. You got the 8 of Swords with the Death card when it comes to this judgment. Kind of like, it's going to happen. I don't want to fight it. It's going to happen. I'm just going to decide to accept it and make it work to my advantage. I feel like this... I don't know how it sounds, but it does feel like it's an advanced Scorpio response to this. Kind of like a more mature, kind of like, life happens. Life happens. Maybe it didn't happen quite the way I wanted it to. Maybe I wasn't considered as much as I should have been. Doesn't mean I'm going to let it rule me. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to make this work out the way I want it to. I'm just going to take it for what it is and move forward. The challenge here is to not let it roll around in your brain too much. Make it what you want it to be. Accept it for what it is, and then move forward accordingly. I'm feeling like the way that I wasn't considered in this decision, it does bother me. I don't want to pretend like that's a bad thing, because I do think realizing that is a smart thing on your side. I would also say, because this could be a business thing, by the way. It could easily be a business thing. There's a book, Paul McKenna, How to Mend Your Broken Heart. It is geared towards romantic relationships. I've used it for every different type, business, and you name it, I've used it. But it will take out the energy from the situation and help you just kind of make peace with it and move on. So it doesn't, like, I'm a Pisces, so another water sign. I'm not Scorpio, I know, but us water signs, I feel like we get dragged down the stairs before we know it by our emotions. It puts it in check, and it's kind of like, I'm going to do this is how I feel, boom, and I can move on from it. And it doesn't, like, drag me up and down the stairs emotionally. I don't let it. Those exercises might empower you that way. There's actually an exercise in there that helps you to stop thinking about something you don't want to think about. It's the only time it's ever worked in my life. I am that person, like, the more I'm not supposed to think about it, it's exactly what I think about. So there's an exercise in there that has worked for me to actually stop that. I'm still blown away that works. Just in case that makes this easier for you. Because I'm getting you are going to move forward. You're going to make your decision. You're a very talented person. Scorpios seem like they're one of those signs that they can make things manifest. It seems like it's like Scorpio manifests, I don't want to say easily, but it does seem like it for y'all sometimes. Like you want to make something happen, it happens. It just seems like once you've come to peace with it, and you've decided that's what I want, it just seems to be, maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm wrong, you can let me know, but it just seems like when you want to make something happen, you have the talent to actually make it happen. The trick is to not let it double back on you and mess with yourself. Make it happen, create what you want. Be careful of conversations with this situation. Be careful of conversations. What do we mean by that? 3 of Cups and the Devil card. If there's somebody that you're upset with, work it out with them directly. The 15 is the Devil card. The 3 of Cups is the 3 of Cups. It's the friendship card. If you talk about this with other people, other than the person that you're upset with, this could get more complicated and it could cause problems that you don't need. I feel like it's going to double back. Be careful of that. If there's an issue with somebody, take it up with them directly and sort it out. Let them know how you feel. Let them know, hey, this is going to work out. But the fact that you didn't think of me before you made that decision, that sucks. And I'm going to tell you why that sucks. You don't have to be brutal. Like, I feel like I'm kind of going that way. But just go right to the source. Say, listen, if it's bothering you, go to the source. Sort it out with the source. That way it doesn't become a problem. I'm worried that, like, we're planting, like, this seed, but the seed is like a bunch of weeds. And it could become a problem later. And once it's there, this reminds me of people who... they're in relationships with somebody and maybe the relationship is a little rocky, and then they tell their friends how much their partner sucks, and then they end up marrying that person. Meanwhile, your friends like say, why did you marry that person that sucks? And that there's a rift that just never goes away. You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of that. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but it reminds me of something similar to that. Keep that in mind, because I've seen this happen with people. Like, you tell other people how you feel and what you're feeling in the moment, and then they get upset for you on your behalf, and then they can't let go of an emotion that maybe you worked through and you solved, and that's in the past for you. But your friends or your acquaintances or your family are still feeling negative about something that you already resolved, and it can cause problems later. Just keep that in mind. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk to other people. I'm just saying work it out with the person directly, and then talk with other people as you feel appropriate afterwards. Because there's a chance for a heartbreak. This is the challenge card. I feel like if you talk with other people, you got to be careful because it seems like there's a backlash here, and there could be a problem later that you don't need. It's not going to help you. This situation does resolve itself. It does get better. The person who didn't consider your feelings or how this affects you in the beginning, they do understand. It's like later on it catches up. It reminds me of an Aries I know. I love Aries. I think Aries are great. But it reminds me of an Aries I know that does this. They just kind of go ahead and then afterwards they're like, oh yeah, that's going to affect other people. And they realize how afterwards, and then they're stressed with that afterwards, and then they work to make it right afterwards. There is an impact. They do care. It's just that the way the thought came through, the way the process manifested out, it's just kind of like it was the after effect, and they're like, oh, that was wrong, wasn't it? So you might get that after the effect, because I see them trying to stabilize this and make it right later, which will work to your advantage. Sometimes that works more to your advantage than being considered in the beginning. Kind of like, oh, yeah, I really should have thought of you. So it's kind of like, now they're like, it's like every vote you have is worth 2 votes. So unless they really hate an idea, you're probably going to get your way because they're like, oh, I should have considered you before and I want to make this up to you. So more things go to your favor than originally would have. So it does serve you in the long run. They definitely want you to be happy with them. They definitely value you. It's just how the thought process worked out. I know somebody like this. They're a very good person. They do that. They make decisions, they move forward, and they're like, oh yeah, that's going to affect some other people. Oops, got to fix that. It works to your advantage in the long run. But then again, if there's other people who are holding a grudge against somebody about your situation, I'm feeling like there's booby traps or something here. There's like little snares that we don't need. The situation with you and this person is going to move on. At some point, you're going to work it out, and they're going to be very bonded with you. They're going to make sure that you're happy and everything's okay with you. You're going to speak your mind with them, and at some point, you will tell them, like, listen, the way you did that, worked out. I like the outcome, but still, the way you did that, let's think a little bit differently next time. You got this under control. You also know how this is. What does that mean? You know how this person is what I keep getting. 8 of Pentacles with the grieving, kind of like, I feel like the grieving, this may seem strange for this card, but it's kind of like, that's just how they are. Like, I feel like I'm trying to not be offended by certain actions they take, because I'm like, I've seen them do this to like their best friend and stuff like that. I've seen them do this to people before. And I know that these people mean a lot to them. This is just how they do things. They do this. The grieving is kind of like, I don't like it, but I feel like I have to accept a certain part of their personality. We're not all going to match. Certain times, it's like, certain people just have personality differences. They're not really negotiable. That's just who they are. It's either like accept it or don't. And it's kind of like, yeah, they did that again. And they've done it to their friends. They've done it to other people that they very much care about. They just, once in a while, they just do this. This is how their thought process works. Do I like it? No. Do I get it? Yeah. It's just how it is. And I seem to see, like, I don't take as much offense to it because I can see other places it plays out that way. Do I like it? No. But do I see it for what it is? Yes. That's another reason why we don't want other people holding grudges against this person that we've already solved and made peace with, because it's gonna create a problem that you don't want. It's kind of like, it's like somebody storing rotten food in the fridge. It's like, why would you throw it out, get rid of it. At the very least, put it in a container that says garbage, put it in the freezer, and then make sure you throw it out on garbage day, at the very least. Don't leave it in the fridge, don't leave it in the fridge. We don't want that analogy, you know what I mean? We don't want somebody like taking something that you've already decided you're going to throw out, and then they're leaving it in the fridge, and then you're getting ready to eat. You open this drawer and there's rotten fruit in there, and you're like, oh, that's disgusting. Now it just killed my appetite. Like, if they're like, well, I just didn't want to forget it. I wanted to make sure I remembered that was still happening. You're like, all right, listen, I get it. We didn't want it outside. We didn't want it attracting animals, but label it in a container, put it in the freezer, and put garbage on it so they realize it's garbage, so I won't open it and try to figure out what it is. And keep it in the freezer too, so at least it won't smell. So I don't have to deal with that. And when garbage day comes up, make sure you throw it out. But I feel like it's just the analogy. I don't know if I'm going too far with that analogy, maybe. you don't want somebody holding something to the side that you open this drawer and go, oh God, that, I forgot about that. And then it's like ruining your appetite for something else. We don't want problems with this later. We want you to be in control of how this works. We want you to be in the strength position, or kind of like deciding like, I feel how I feel, and this is how I'm going to work this out for me. We don't want other people like trying to work things out on your behalf in a way that you don't really want anyway. Are we good? We're good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.